Hi, welcome back to my channel. We are gonna do a tag today, which I was tagged by Queen CJ as well as Nicole from Books from Bed, and I kind of forgot to do it, but here we are now. But I just wanted to take a moment before we jump onto the questions and whatnot to discuss a little bit about what's been going on, recent developments in occupied Palestine, and everything that's been going on. I'm sure we all know and we are all aware, but I just wanted to take this moment to share some resources that have been really instrumental for me personally with my own education around this topic. One of them being a really interesting podcast called the Palestine Pod. I highly recommend it. I'll link it down below, as well as just some books that are just the beginning of my own journey of being an informed person in the world. One of them, which I spoke about several months ago, is on Palestine. This I found to be such a great sorry, Charlie arrived. But anyways, I was saying that I found this to be a really great like foundational text that I found really digestible, super informative, and just kind of like a crash course, like 101. So yes, this was really, really great. And then right now I'm currently reading Justice for Some, Law and the Question of Palestine. Incredible. Again, talking about the region through a legal lens, which I found super, super important in understanding or historicizing or contextualizing what is currently going on. So I'm really, really thankful for my friend Greta that she suggested I read this, and luckily my library had it on hand, so I didn't even have to wait. And yes, I highly encourage you to read these, and if you have any other books that you personally have read and consider them to be important to read now and well, now and whenever, and amazing if you've already read them, please let me know. I think it's important to, other than posting things on social media, to have conversations outside of that platform, educate yourself beyond the snippets that we all consume on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly kind of highlight these two great resources, and hopefully you can let me know of any other ones that have been instrumental in you know, educating yourself on what's been going on. And yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to kind of say that, and now we can jump into the tag. I also realized I didn't introduce the tag. We're gonna be doing the life stories tag, which for a second, I stupidly thought that I didn't read this genre. Like I didn't read any like memoirs or autofiction, and boy was I wrong, because I realized soon after that thought that, wait a minute, that's actually all I read. Like I love like autofiction, semi-autographical works, essays on authors' lives. Like, yeah, that pretty much comprises the majority of what I read. So this was actually not a difficult tag to come up with my answers for. Surprise, surprise. So anyways, let's just jump right in. The first question is, do you have a preference for biography or autobiography? 1010% autobiography. I think there's something quite personal about somebody sharing their own accounts of what they remember, what they want to share with you, how they perceived a certain life event. Yeah, I just find that hearing the author's own perspective and voice and opinion about something that they experienced to be just a bit more interesting than someone else's interpretation of those events. So yeah, definitely autobiography. Now, what's the difference between a memoir and an autobiography? I should know this. Am I gonna sound stupid if I don't know this? Oh well, someone will let me know. of my ignorance there. But anyway, okay. Question number 2. Do you gravitate towards a specific area like sports, celebrity, history, etc.? No. Literally, I'm down for anything. There's actually, speaking of sports, there's an autobiography of this famous surfer that I've seen it on my dad's shelf, and for whatever reason, I think the name is Barbarian Days, but it sounds really interesting, and my dad loves talking about that book, so I'm honestly kind of down to read that, so I might have to borrow it from him. But yeah, well, actually, celebrities I'm not like that interested in, to be honest, so I guess I don't really gravitate towards that. But if somebody were to get me like a celebrity autobiography or memoir that they really liked, like, I don't think I would be necessarily opposed to it. I just don't think I would ever like buy it for myself. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'm open, you know, if anybody wants to send me a celebrity memoir or whatever, like, maybe I'll read it. I don't know. Number 4, must you always know the person before picking up their life story? No, absolutely not. I'm gonna add this as like what I consider to be like autobiographical, but Ta-Nehisi Coates's book Between the World and Me, I consider that kind of like yeah, autobiographical, and I had no idea who he was. Like, I didn't know that he was a quite highly esteemed journalist, writer. I just kind of picked up that book and was just blown away by the writing, the story, the message, the impact. And I had no idea who he was before picking up that book. So no. And actually, in fact, I think that's the case for quite a few other books, to be honest, that I've read. I just kind of pick it up because it sounds interesting, and then I get really another example, which I wouldn't call this like a biography necessarily, but what my mother and I don't talk about, certain authors like sharing their very like intimate stories about their relationships with their mothers. Like, I didn't know a few of those authors, and then that led me to then look them up and realize that I had either read some of their books or some of their books were on my radar. So no, I just kind of read whatever speaks to me and then realize, oh, I really like this author, or I don't like them, and so on and so forth. So no. Also, I realize whenever I do these tags, I always end up missing like a question or two. So hopefully this doesn't happen this time around, but you never know. I'm warning you. Okay. Number 5, have you ever met someone whose biography or autobiography you've read? No, but I did totally fangirl over the author of this book. Hold on a minute. This is an incredible read. Gabor Mate, I hope I'm saying his name right. The Realm of Hungry Ghosts, Close Encounters with Addiction. And it's his, he's an MD in the downtown east side of Vancouver, BC. And he works at a like harm reduction facility / hotel where people who struggle with mental health issues and addiction obviously seek his services and his counsel. And it was such a powerful read. I absolutely adored this book. It was incredible. So it talks about his patients, his own relationship with addiction. It was just a phenomenal read. I highly recommend you to check this book out, as well as just the author himself. And he walked into my bookstore, and like, I don't really care about celebrities, to be honest, like whatever, but if an author that I like happens to encounter me, like, I will freak out. I was literally like, oh my God, it's him. And he was wearing a mask, and I still knew exactly who he was. And he came in asking for puzzles, which I was like, no, sir, I'm sorry, but like, we don't have any. And he left. And I was like, oh my God, Ignacia, you literally let the celebrity walk out the door, and you didn't even acknowledge him. You didn't even ask him to sign the book. Like, you better chase him down. So you know what I did? My brain was like, surely he's gone to the coffee shop next door. So I literally closed the store. I go to the coffee shop, and he's like waiting for the coffee. And I'm like, Sir, I'm so sorry. I was the girl at the bookstore. Are you the author of of this book? And he's like, yes. So anyways, we ended up talking, and he ended up coming back into the store, and I ended up like blabbing on about how much this book had impacted me, and I was like oversharing, and my inner voice was like, shut up, like this man doesn't care, you've already like creeped him, you've stalked him to the coffee shop, brought him back into the store, like let him go. But yeah, it was incredible. He signed the copy that we had at the store, and I instantly called my dad and my boyfriend and my mom and was like freaking out, and none of them understood why. So long story short, this is the only book author I've ever met, but it was an impactful friggin' 10 minutes of my life, and I'm so glad I chased him down and brought him back and had a conversation with him. So yes. God, that was such a tangent. Okay, the next question. What do you think about books that are described as semi-autobiographical? I freaking love them. Absolutely. You can sprinkle in a little fiction in there with a little bit of like your real life story or whatever. Like, absolutely. So down. Also, not that I would ever write something, but if I were to write something, I would probably do something like semi-autobiographical. So I'm all for it. Okay, number 7, give an example of a life story that really surprised you. Hunger by Roxane Gay, because I, again, didn't really know very much about her. And that book was just super raw, vulnerable, smart, hard at times, and I just really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, it just really surprised me because I didn't really know what I was in for. A friend had just recommended it to me, and I bought it and was completely blown away. So yeah, it was great. So I highly recommend that one, actually. What biographies, autobiographies, memoirs, etc. are currently on your TBR? Blueberries. Yes, I am so stoked. I feel like the entire internet has read it at this point, and mine is just like patiently waiting for me to pick them up. But I'll get to it, and I'm really excited. Number 9, whose life story did you find particularly hard going, either emotionally difficult to read or very boring? This one was definitely not very boring, but it was In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. Because again, I didn't really know what I was going in for. I bought it when I was in Montreal, and the bookseller, that was like his favorite book, sold me on it, but he was more just like, you need to read it, this is amazing. Like, he didn't really like elaborate on like what it was actually about. And when I started reading, I was like, oof, like, wow, this is heavy. And I actually read it. We went to Montreal for the day, my mom and I remember we took a train, and I just read the book in like the entire train ride. I was like, Mom, don't talk to me. Like, I need to finish this book. I need to be like fully immersed. And it was a trip. Very intense, but the best book I read last year, without a doubt. So yeah. Okay, number 10, is there anyone you know personally who you feel should have their life story written down? I don't want to copy CJ, but like my dad, 1000%. Very interesting character, very interesting family, life story. Yeah, definitely my dad. 11, have you read any diaries or collection of letters? If so, which ones did you find interesting? No, like I can't think of anything. No, sorry. Okay, the last question. What are a few life story books you would recommend to us to read? Literally all the ones I mentioned: In the Dream House, Hunger, Between the World and Me, Blueberries, I'm sure is going to be great. Honestly, this book, which isn't even a life story, but it's incredible. Now that I wasted like 5 minutes of this video talking about this, like, I'm going to include this in here. What else? Yeah, I mean, there's so many out there. You don't need me to tell you. You already know all the great, like, oh, The Argonauts, which is another one that I'm pretty sure that's autofiction, that I'm very excited to read, and it's also in my TBR that I will hopefully get to one day. With all these great books to read, it gets kind of overwhelming because you just wish you could like read them all at the same time. But yeah, those are all the questions. Wow, we actually got through that kind of fast. I feel like I was also talking like super fast, but anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you pick some of these up. Also, actually, not part of the like tag itself, but I'm hoping that you also read the 2 books that I've suggested that have been so amazing in my understanding and knowledge surrounding Palestine and Israel. And I hope you also pick those up. So anyways, that's all that I have for you today. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.